Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do an intense study of the stock factory air cleaner that came with the 7.3 naturally aspirated IDI. We're going to go over each part and every function that each part has and what Ford and International intended when they designed this air cleaner. This part here, which looks like a tire valve, this was called an air cleaner restriction test valve. This was used to test a few things. Number one, to check if your air filter was still in good condition, since sometimes just a visual check of the air filter wasn't always accurate. Number two, to test if proper airflow was entering the engine. The air cleaner restriction test valve in itself has a small valve inside it. It opens and closes with vacuum, and it also has a small screen that you can barely see on the top here. After you started your engine and brought it up to a running RPM of 3,300, a vacuum pressure tester was hooked on the test valve with a threaded adapter that's screwed onto this, and also a vacuum line was connected to an old school mechanical water gauge, measured inches by water. Today they use inches by mercury. Basically, the vacuum would open the test valve and in the air cleaner, and if the reading on the mechanical gauge was between 2 and 25 H2O, you didn't have to correct anything. If the reading was above 25 H2O, that meant your air filter was dirty and being too restrictive. So you had to replace it, and after you did, you had to do a retest. If the reading was below 2 H2O, you had to correct the restriction on the test valve by drilling a 1/32 hole in this screen. On mine, they didn't have to do that test, but that's what you would do if the reading on the mechanical gauge was below 2 H2O. Then after they were finished, they would put the cap back on. Now this is our next item on the air cleaner. It's been given the name or nickname through the years, the soup bowl. Its proper technical name is called the Helmholtz resonator. There is this huge misconception that cutting these soup bowls off will result in more airflow and more horsepower. This is simply not true. Just because it's louder doesn't mean that it's more powerful. Ford and International not only designed this resonator to decrease intake noise, it was also designed to handle something called pressure wave harmonics that a lot of people have not even heard about. Now this next item in the air cleaner is called a restrictor plate, and it makes you, why in the world would they put a piece of metal right in front of where the air is coming in to the air cleaner? It was designed specifically to restrict airflow, to limit suction noise, since these motors are quite loud from the factory. But it's not a great design. In doing so, it causes the engine to lose power, since air volume is restricted from that plate. Since the restriction plate is as high and as wide as the intake opening, the volume of air coming in will hit that restriction plate and is stopped in its tracks. Any remaining air is diverted to the left and to the right of the plate, and the volume of air is dissipated, resulting in a lack of power. Now, removal of the restrictor plate will cause a direct more air per volume into the intake and will be consistent. The restrictor plate also acted as a shield from road debris, not to penetrate your air cleaner. It also diverted water and dust to the blow-off tube in the back of the canister. But it is better to have no restrictor plate and have to change your filter more often and have more power than having it on and your engine acting like a slug. Now this final part is on the back of your air cleaner. It's basically a drainage hose. It's called a dust and water blow-off tube. Part number E8TZ-9F765-A. It basically just takes the water and dust and just drains it from your air canister. The worst thing you can do is to plug up that hole so that water and dust builds up in your air canister. I hope you enjoyed my video, and thank you very much for watching. Hope this has helped. Have a great day, and bye for now.